This is the one time I'm going to tell you to put your list down. You know the list I'm talking about. The one with things that you need to do today or perhaps this week. The list that you've been avoiding. Hey there, I'm Tabby, a mental health guide that is obsessed with empowering you to live a life that you truly love. Today, we're going to talk about a very common struggle that many of us face: procrastination. It's a feeling when you know you have tasks to complete, but somehow you find your way putting them off until the very last minute. Do you know why you do that? Do you even know how that you can overcome it? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Now, according to the Oxford Dictionary, procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing something. Procrastination is an action. It is something that you do. So, why do we do this? Now, procrastination completely varies on your situation, your factors. But the top 3 that I have researched and figured out for you are: number 1, the fear of not finishing. Sometimes knowing that there's no way you're going to get the list done entirely in that one day or that one week or whatever your deadline is, knowing that you can't do it prevents you from even trying to start. Number 2, not knowing where to start. Now, feeling unsure about how to begin a task can absolutely create a sense of overwhelm. And this will ultimately lead to you not starting and or procrastinating. When you lack a clear starting point, it absolutely becomes easy to get lost in the details. Number 3, the need for perfectionism. It's not going to be perfect, and all that's doing is causing feelings of overwhelm by the magnitude of your task. When you set excessively high standards, this can contribute to procrastination. It also ties back into not knowing where to start. Procrastination can stem from different factors, but the top 3 are the fear of not finishing something, not knowing where to start, and setting high expectations. Now, what do you do when you find yourself doing these 3 things or one of these 3 things? That's easy, and I can't wait to share it with you. So, come on. First, you recognize and acknowledge that you are procrastinating. I have to say it out loud. I am procrastinating my procrastination video. I am procrastinating taking my medicine. I'm procrastinating just saying it. Awareness is crucial for initiating change. Be honest with yourself. Be freaking honest. Are you procrastinating? Why? Once you recognize and you acknowledge it, break it down. If you're unsure where to start, break the task down into smaller tasks. If you start with the easiest or the most straightforward, breaking it down will provide all of the clarity and all of the sense of direction, and you'll physically be able to see, okay, I have to do all of this. I'm going to start with the easiest, or I'm going to start with the most daunting. Having it physically in front of you makes it 1,000 times easier to just start. Set yourself some paper goals. Be precise. Be appropriate. Set a time period. Estimate, give yourself how much time do you think it's going to take before you set your deadline. Is this something that you can reach? Is it attainable? Breaking it down that way gives you what I like to call a roadmap for success. All right, so you've acknowledged, you've written everything down, and you have your paper goals. Now it's time to utilize the 24 hours in a day that everybody has. You're going to want to experiment with different ways to get your tasks done. Allow yourself the freedom to experiment and make mistakes. Time management is one of those finicky little things that everyone has the same time, but somehow someone else always gets more done. You're going to want to break things down in blocks. What I do personally is I give myself 2 hours for each 30-minute task. So if, for example, the kitchen is going to take me 30 minutes, I'm going to allow myself 2 hours to get that done. Why? Because it allows me to procrastinate, acknowledge, and set myself up. Whenever I do it this way, that's a dopamine burst for me. That's going to motivate me to keep going. I also allow myself awards if it's something really daunting, like a homework assignment. But using time management skills, by using blocks, you literally set yourself up for success, just one task after the other after the other. Oh, but Tabby, I hate procrastinating. How do I make it stop? Easy. Number one, find your motivation. You have to reflect on your big reason why. And so many people say that. So many people. But it's the God honest truth. Knowing why you need to do things and having that purposeful meaning in you is your motivation. So if you want to prevent procrastination, find your motivation. Number two, prioritize and plan literally everything. Create a to-do list at the beginning of the week. I choose to do it Saturday, sometimes on Sunday, but I always do it on the weekend. You can use a productivity tool to prioritize your task like I do. I used an app, it's for iPhone users, called Structured, and it works amazingly. Schedule everything based around everything else. If your kitchen needs to be cleaned, but your child has a sports practice, what's going to come first? Well, if the sports practice is in the afternoon, dishes are going to come first. But if the sports practice is first thing in the morning, then obviously those dishes can wait. Prioritize and plan everything. I promise it's the way. Number three, minimize your distractions. I have children and I have animals and I have all of the things always. So whenever I plan, I always plan around them. I always plan my recordings while they're either asleep or away. I don't ever do it when they're running around like crazy people. I minimize my distractions as much as possible. If the kids are running around like crazy people, dishes can be done because that's a loud chore. Identify your potential distractions. This could also be a group of friends that chit chat every single morning, right? You need to minimize until you get some things done. Now, there is nothing wrong with having conversation first thing in the morning. I do it every single morning with my best friends. But there is a time where you put it down. There becomes a time where your tasks need to be prioritized. One of my favorite things and my favorite ways I use to minimize distractions is the focus on iPhones. You have do not disturb, personal, sleep, and work, and drive. I use all of them always, but especially do not disturb, because do not disturb does not give you the option of notifying anyway. It's not rude, so don't let your anxiety tell you that. Nobody cares. The focus mode, the do not disturb, the turning your phone off, putting it on vibrate, all of these things are not against anybody else. They are for you. So turn off your notifications, put your phone down, close the computer, do your dishes, do whatever it is you have to do by minimizing your distractions. To prevent procrastination from being a reoccurring issue, you need to find your own motivation. You need to prioritize and plan your task, and you need to minimize your distractions. But number 4 always leads to a reward. So I want you to listen up to this one. You need to create self-discipline. You need to start practicing holding yourself accountable for your actions. Sometimes that means doing the dishes and then going to get a cone of ice cream or something. But that also means that if you don't do the dishes, you don't get that reward. It's time to start holding yourself accountable for the good things and the not so great things that we do. When you reward yourself, you have you have a dopamine burst, and dopamine is your internal motivation factor. Whenever you give yourself rewards, you want to keep feeling that. You want another reward. So what can you do next to get another reward? Self-discipline is both good things like rewards and bad things like awareness of not completing a task. Both of these things need to be acknowledged. Overcoming procrastination requires self-awareness, proactive measures, and a commitment to change. When you understand the cause of procrastination and that it is an action, you can recognize the sign when it starts to strike. By implementing effective strategies, you can absolutely regain control of your time. Now remember, small steps are the only way to go. I'm going to leave you the same way I always do. Be kind to yourself, always.